morning, everybody. Wherever you are, however you may be listening, this is the Wednesday wrap-up. Shout out to my man, Herb, for carrying the torch last week while I was on vacation. I should go on vacation more.
You should not. You should not. I was sweating bullets. I fell over a couple times. It was just awful. We got pelted with trash, and I don't even have anybody in the house. It was a wild scene without you, Bo. You are missed.
No, and I knew you and Keith would be able to, have a good one. I figured you guys would be able to work together in the future. Like, he's a huge college guy.
Right.
And of course, for those of you that saw him last week, TGI Sports is his channel, and
good stuff.
Great content. Definitely go check him out.
Yep, for sure. No, it was great to see him fill in, and two college guys talked a little NFL just to try to to keep the show going, but it was fun. And thank you, Win. I appreciate that. You can yell that kind of stuff. That's fine.
I was going to say, you kind of have to be yelling. It's a little early here on the West Coast.
Oh, coffee is in hand. It is not even on the West Coast.
Yeah, definitely that. International Animal Rights Day. Okay.
Does that mean all animals in? Because international animals to us are not international animals to those animals, right? And then over there, our animals are the international animals, right?
I think just internationally, all animal rights.
Okay.
I think it's a blanket statement. What's happening, Jeremy?
What's up?
Got Raj in the house.
Oh my gosh, on time and everything.
No, right? Like it's we got a quick start this morning.
What up, Nick?
All right. So, kind of a lot going on. But I sort of want to kick this off with, we're at that point in the year where coaches are going to get fired.
Yes.
Right? And we've already got a couple. The list has shifted a little bit from the way that it was earlier in the year. So earlier in the year, Canales was on there. I would have to say he's not on there anymore. He's done some stuff there with the Panthers that have looked good. But so I put a new list together, and let me know what you think. So obviously Callahan and Dable both already fired, right? Gannon, man, he's got to be the next one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be Raheem Morris.
So I always wonder, I always talk about built-in excuses, right?
Sure.
And I always think, is it going to be, well, look, the division was super tough this year and we lost our starting quarterback, which I push back on both. 49ers were decimated. You should have been able to overtake a team like that. Your backup quarterback has played better than your starting quarterback. Like you're just not doing a good job there, and we were okay with them when they were losing to the better teams in the league, right? And beating up on the bad teams and at least being mediocre. And you've dropped below that, So
exactly.
That's my built-in excuses one. I think falls short on Gannon. And yeah, I don't see how he survived. Unless you're just, I think they were okay with mediocrity and then they dropped below that and they're like, all right, we can't continue along this path, right? I think they cut bait with Gannon, they cut bait with Kyler, and they figure out the plan for the future.
Well, and I think so Stefanski, I always thought, was a little bit protected because the Browns are just dysfunctional as a whole.
Right.
But the way that things have gone this year, I thought he was protected because of the whole Deshaun Watson thing. And so they were going to let this thing play out a little bit longer. But then you end up with a situation where they lose to Tennessee, which has already fired their coach, doesn't have a ton of talent. And you have Shedeur Sanders with his best day as a quarterback. Now, granted, this is, again, against the Titans that are in line to get the number 1 overall pick. So not exactly a juggernaut of a team here. And his 2 good games are against bad teams, right? He beat the Raiders. He beat the Titans. He did not look particularly good against the Niners. We'll see how he does against the Bears this week. But this right here from Stefanski is what makes me think he could be the next guy out the door.
What was supposed to happen on that last 2-point conversion?
Yeah, not going to get into all the specifics, Jeff, but obviously did not go as we thought it would.
Did you make that call or did Tommy?
Yeah, I make every call. I make every
call, which, I mean, cool. But you have a guy in Shedeur that during this game throws for 300 and some yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick, right? You don't have him on the field for that 2-point conversion to tie the game up. Seems weird.
Yeah. Seems awful is what you mean.
yeah, like it doesn't make a ton of sense. Yes, I understand they have a couple of first round picks. I get it. At the same time, you can't do stuff like that. Like, you can't actively shoot yourself in the foot. I mean, the way that play broke down, it looked like some kids playing at the park that had never played football before. And you just like assembled a team and you're like, okay, go. I mean, nobody looked like they knew what they were doing.
No. And you watch it several times. You're like, I still can't figure out the plan. You know, we don't know. They didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't practice, clearly. They just, like you said, threw a bunch of people out there and realized at some point, oh, crap, Sanders isn't out there. Like, I don't know, especially in a crucial part of the game.
I mean, that at least is a little more believable, where they're just like, oh, yeah, we're doing our personnel count. There was already 11. So we're just like, no one else on the
field. Yeah. No. Like one of those movies where the guy subs himself in to go make himself a star, except he failed miserably in this case.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it didn't make any sense at all because, you know, like Jeremy said there, he also rushed one in. I was just going over his throwing stats, but yeah, I mean, he did rush one. So to have him not in on a play that potentially pushes this thing to overtime is wild.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And he's been under fire all year. And I think we both have kind of agreed if he goes, the GM needs to go too and just reset the whole thing. But
for sure,
I don't see how he escapes some of his decisions in game. And I know he was handed a mess, but the way the mess has been handled after that has been awful also. So,
well,
I think it's time to redo the whole thing.
Especially when you think of how good that defense is.
Right.
For them to look as bad as they do is awful. And then you can't even beat teams like the Titans. Like that is wild.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it's like they said, it was just strategic. Are they trying to lose at some point? I don't know. I don't think they have any clue what they're doing. I don't think they have any clue what they're doing next year. You see Deshaun Watson's name pop back up, and you're just like, so you guys just have more matches is what you're doing. You've got a nice big bonfire. Like, should we put it out? No, pour some more oil. Like I don't
You're just over there with cans of gasoline. Just yeah.
So I don't get it. I wouldn't be surprised that the Browns need a major overhaul. I don't see how Stefanski, even I see people who like him go, yeah, I think it's just about time. So I could see that one too.
Yeah, well, I mean, it almost seems like Stefanski's just mailing this thing in now. He's just like, you know what? Maybe I know I'll get another shot because people are going to be like, oh, yeah, I mean, it was the Browns. So, we'll try you again.
Right.
I mean, I think at this point, just the way that this thing is unfolded, plus his guy, Gabriel just didn't become the guy for him. A lot of pressure within the organization to start Shedeur. I think he's kind of done. Like when you listen to his press conferences at this point, he's just like, yeah, it's my fault. Everything's my fault.
That's that 10th year of marriage husband talk right there.
Right, you're just completely defeated. Just like, you know what? Yeah, could you just fire me now? Like,
yes. I'm gonna say all the right things so you can't like fire me and not pay me. But yeah, just let me have my checks and go home. I'd rather get fired and sit and watch at home though than have to continue to coach the Browns though, I think.
Well, especially because they just find a new way to be bad every week. So, kudos to them. Like it's impressive because this time around you actually scored some points, but then you let a team that doesn't score points score a bunch of points.
Yeah.
Like, the defense was the one thing you were good at. So yeah, I mean, it's just a disaster there. So,
It is.
And unfortunately, I don't think it really has anything like the GM obviously coach issue to some degree. But this isn't a new issue, right? This is the Browns since they came back into the league. So,
yeah,
I mean, you
That's
can
your
blame it
problem.
on whoever you want that's in the building, but pretty sure that guy that writes all the checks might be the main issue here.
Yeah.
So
Anybody who signed off that the mess that is Deshaun Watson then doubled down on 2 rookie quarterbacks and Joe Flacco in the same year is, somebody at some point has to step in and say, okay, this is just a mess. Like, forget it. Hire an offensive-minded GM and an offensive-minded head coach and just pick me a quarterback. And I'll be in the Bahamas or Caymans or wherever these folks go these days. And you guys just sort it out and put all of everything into evaluating and getting me a quarterback. And we'll build the rest of the team out. We'll make the rest of it work. But just get the quarterback position right. And I don't care what resources we have to throw at it this time. But something.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially because you have high picks. Like, honestly, I don't think they have their quarterback moving forward on the roster.
Right.
As high as their draft picks are going to be, it's entirely possible they just go get another quarterback because why not? It's the Browns. And they may trade everybody. Like, who knows? Especially if they move on from Stefanski.
No, it's the Browns. So next year they will go in there with Gabriel, Sanders, and their first-round draft pick at quarterback. And that will be their quarterback rotation to start the year. So,
and then, obviously on this list, Zach Taylor exists. And so the thing that's funny here is, as much as I blame Zach Taylor for some stuff, you do have to get him a defense, right? I mean, so that falls on your GM. Like, you got to get guys in the room. You can't have, half of your salary cap tied up on 3 guys. I mean, apparently you can, but you don't win a lot if you do. Like,
right.
So,
and you know what it is?
Oh, go ahead.
No. I mean, I'm sorry. I was totally cut across there. It's just when you say that with the 3 guys, that one game where they look great and score 45 points and Higgins has 2 touchdowns and Chase has 2 touchdowns. You're like, see, it's great. And then they lose that game like 50-45. And you're like, oh, I see what you guys mean. Like I just would have offloaded Higgins for some defense or an offensive line or something else, because you see they're in a shootout with Buffalo. The first mistake they make, they lose the game. They don't have a shot. But I agree with you. It's the GM definitely has to be accountable somewhere in this. And then can we also talk about Trey Hendrickson getting signed for a year, missing most of the year, and now he's just going to walk? Like, what was the whole point of that whole saga?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, to not at least invest in the offensive line is crazy as well, because you've seen this hurt Joe Burrow in the past, right? He's only healthy every other year anyway. And then you get no defense. Those 3 guys make more than the whole defense combined. You don't get Hendrickson extended beyond that. You already didn't have defense, and your one guy, you basically said, yeah, we'll keep you here for a rental this year and then go anywhere else. It didn't make any sense to me. And I mean, like we said at the beginning of the year, they're going to have to put up 50 points because everybody's going to score every time they touch the ball. And as soon as they don't score when they touch it, it's a wrap. So it's, and, again, you're going to see them score a ton of points and not be in the playoffs.
Yep. I was on a show with a guy, a really smart guy, who at the beginning of the year told us that Joe Burrow was going to get hurt because he gets hurt every other year, and then he got hurt. So we won't call out that guy's name, but it rhymes with Joe.
you just watched some trends, right? And you're like, oh, and so everyone that had asked me, they're like, "Oh, should I take Burrow?" And like, I wouldn't in fantasy. I was like, "Yeah, I'd stay away from that one." Although he made it back, so that's sort of impressive.
Yeah. Before a lost cause now, it seems like, I'm also mad that I did pick the Bengals over the Bills this week. And I was like, all right, you know what? Going for this upset. And everything looked great. And then, like I said, first mistake and you lose because you're not slowing anything down on the other side of the ball. So,
yeah, I mean, you can play the no defense game if you're going against bad teams, because then you're going to score every time, because you do have 2 race cars to catch the ball, and Burrow is talented, right? He can sling the rock. But if you get up against a team that can make a stop, you can't. So, then it's a wrap. So it's unfortunate because they're actually wasting Burrow's career, and really, Chase and Higgins, like they could be good, on any roster, but you don't give them any defense. I don't know what you expect those guys to do.
Right. Like I said, the first mistake, the first drop, the first anything, and you're done. So it didn't make any sense. Like I said, I would have gone back. I would have kept Higgins. I understood you were doubling down on that, but you had nothing else. So, and then one injury to him, Higgins is in and out of the lineup too as well. So
yeah,
it's just poorly constructed. But to Zach Taylor's detriment, the way they've started off every year, even with all that talent, until this year, they were like a lock to lose the first 2 games. So there's also some preparation wise that he's been failing at in all these years with this team too as well. So
a couple of those, they were almost a lock to lose the first four games.
So
yeah, and I mean that's wild. Nobody. I get that you're going to chase the payday, but you do want the opportunity to win, right? I mean, that's when you think of Garrett, right? He signs that deal for $40 million a year. Nobody's going to feel bad for him, right? He got that check. At the same time, you're collecting that check, but your whole existence is catching L's. You're still going to get kind of burnt out on it, right? Like you do want to be in that win column sometimes.
Yes. It'd be nice that your effort showed for something. So you're going to set the sack record and still go like the first draft pick in the draft.
Yes.
You're like, what was the whole point? So
no, and that's crazy work on its own, right? I mean, he's I think he has 19 now. So if and what the record is 22 and a half by Strahan. So correct me if I'm wrong.
He's at 20 right now.
Oh, is he at 20?
Yeah,
okay.
20.
Yeah, so he's got to get 3 sacks through the next 4 games. I'd say there's a pretty good chance, especially because their offense generally isn't that great, and the defense gets lots of opportunities.
Yes.
So,
he's like, high five. Thanks, you do appreciate it.
They'll get that against the Bears too. So,
yeah.
But slowest start, yeah. So yeah, that's those are the guys that I kind of think. And Nick, I think you're right. McDaniel probably doesn't actually get fired. That's why he's down on this list. Usually the guys at the bottom here are less likely. Those first 4 that haven't already been fired are probably your most likely. I don't think Pete Carroll probably gets fired ultimately either, despite the fact that this year was rough. McDaniel probably doesn't.
That's
because
putting it mildly.
Yeah, exactly. But you can pin a lot of that on Geno, right? Geno was throwing to everybody but his team. So, I don't know how much you can blame Pete for that, because the rest of the team actually played decently. But when you're in a bad position all the time, you're putting up, turnovers like nothing else. Don't get me wrong. Turnovers are a coaching point, but I think he survives to play another year. McDaniel, likewise, like Nick said, the GM is moving on. So now you can see, they started to win a little bit. Tyreek's probably not coming back. So, I mean, he probably gets a pass as well. Harbaugh likely doesn't get fired, although this team has looked awful despite being relatively healthy.
That's what I don't get, Mo, is the division was right there for the taking. They got Lamar back.
Yep.
And somehow it's like every game they're making one or two key mistakes just to not win this thing. At times they've just totally forgotten Derrick Henry again. Lamar just looks off. I mean, it's like they're drawing up. I feel bad for the OC sometimes. So they're drawing up the perfect play. And there's a running back out in the flat, and here's Lamar throwing it at his feet. And I'm just like,
yeah,
what's going on? So I don't think Harbaugh is totally to blame, but you do kind of feel like, have we reached the end of the road with this Baltimore iteration and going forward? When they got everybody healthy, like Pittsburgh was Pittsburghing. They were like, here, you guys want the division? Baltimore's like, nah, I'm good. I think I'll controversy notwithstanding, I think, I don't know, it just feels like there's another voice needed in the building or something, because this team should be much better than it should. So.
No, without a doubt. That's Harbaugh likely, like, if the Ravens weren't so loyal to their coaches, most organizations would have moved off them at this point. Because you have spectacular failures in the playoffs that were really coaching issues, right?
Yes,
just not running the ball for the best running team in the league multiple years in a row. That's coaching. That's not the team. Now you look at this year, ball security is an issue, right? It lost them multiple games this year already. Nobody seems to be on the same page. That's a coaching issue. So I don't think they do move on from him, but man, you can make a case for it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it depends on where you want to go, with this team. They're never bad enough to where you're kind of restocking. So you always be middle and up, but with the talent on there, it should be better. So I don't know. I agree with you. I think they end up letting him stick around, because then you're like, if we did let him go, who are we getting anyway? Like, who are we taking a chance on? But it just feels like, I don't know, we're getting further and further away from, like, we're picking the Ravens every year to be at least minimum AFC championship team. And we're just getting, now we're like, okay, you're not even going to make the playoffs. So
yeah, well, and that's the biggest thing, right? Like, you're looking at two juggernauts that are going to miss, right? Ravens, KC. Neither one of those teams are likely to make the playoffs. I know mathematically they're still in it. Ravens are closer than KC. KC, after that loss, is a 12% chance as a wild card.
Yeah.
So that is not great.
No. For those that are bad at math, not good. Not
exactly.
Good.
That means it's low. Yeah. No, exactly. What's happening, Brad?
What's up, Brad?
Yeah, and then Jeremy, the that Monday night game was horrible. The 8 total turnovers, and realistically, that's just the ones that were lost. There could have been 12 in that game.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And 3 on the same play. That one was impressive. That was like some 1980s football follies type of stuff. You throw a pick, you create the fumble, the quarterback gets it back, then fumbles it again. Like, it was the most peewee football looking thing out there. Terrible game overall. Yeah. You go into it and you're like, oh yeah, this game is going to be awesome, right? You got the Eagles, Charger, like, this is going to be great. And then you watch it and you're like, have these guys ever played football before? Like,
if the Three Stooges made a football skit, that would have been it last night.
Real.
I mean, Monday night. So, no, that was just bad. And we talked about it briefly last night, because we love Jalen Hurts, but you got to be better. You cannot, especially the last one. You've gotten into field goal range. You're at least getting yourself the tie, and you're just throwing passes where your receivers don't even have a chance to fight for you. To get to it. And you're not a tight window kind of guy. And it's bad because the throw that he made earlier, I think on the same drive to Devontae Smith, was great timing coming across the middle. He wasn't open when he threw it. And it's like, all right, we get one of those. We're like, all right. And then the last one, I'm like, I don't think you could have fitted into that window like ever. That's just not the kind of guy you are. So, of course, the first guy gets a hand on it. But I'm looking at it thinking, that's not the spot. So Yeah, they posted
Yeah,
what he lost 4 fantasy points on the same play.
I know, right? And yeah, I mean, first time because there's so much that has to go right for you to do that, or wrong, I guess I should say. There's a lot that has to go into throwing an interception. Somehow you get it back and then you fumble. Like, it's not a shock that that's only happened the one time.
Yeah,
because you need the defender to also fumble. Like,
yeah.
there's a lot going on.
Yeah, and you actually have to be around. Most quarterbacks are kind of gone anyway once they throw the interception. So
yeah, they're not chasing.
For him to actually even be in there. Yeah, they're like this. Oh man, this sucks. Somebody get him. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, so both offenses didn't play particularly well. So, I mean, it was a defensive battle. The defenses played well. The offenses played terribly, right? Passes were off target. A bunch of them sailed. Timing was off. Like, neither team was playing particularly good offense. So you can blame it, like, you can credit the defense to some degree, but some of those, there wasn't even like great pass rush in the situation. It just, the ball just wasn't there. So
yeah,
it was, it's almost like they all went out drinking the night before and they're like, oh man, we got to play football. Like, like nothing looked sharp.
Accurate.
But the offenses played. Yeah, exactly.
Only because the defenses couldn't take snaps.
Honestly, they probably should have gave that a go. I mean,
when punting is your best offense.
At least when it came to Herbert, you're like, okay, you know what? He just had surgery on his hand. He had this huge pad on it. Like, he's, there was no reason for Hurts to look the way he did.
No. Especially a guy who prides himself on ball security. There was just no reason. That's one of his things. So, yeah, we were disappointed.
Well, and that's probably the biggest issue for me is the lack of ball security, because that's something you directly control, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you're carrying it out here, it's not new, right? NFL's been around for 100 years. You have the ball out here. What happens to the ball when somebody just comes by and smack? Oh, it's gone. Yeah. That's not a new technique. Just, bring that thing in a little bit. I mean, the defensive guy fumbling, you're like, fair enough. They don't touch the ball a lot. Maybe not enough reps. There's no reason the offense should be fumbling constantly.
Right. No. You run specific drills for this stuff, guys. Like, come on. We need a little bit better.
Exactly. Yeah. In fact, they have you run and people try and punch it out. Or maybe they don't do that anymore.
We don't want to embarrass you in practice, so we won't do that.
Right. We're going to do nothing to try and make you better. That being said, that does get us to the halfway point, which means we have to say goodbye to our radio audience. If you are listening on 97.3 ICU radio, be sure to stay tuned. Coming up next, Smooth Jazz headed your way. Otherwise, switch on over to our YouTube channel at Football-Talk. Catch the second half of the show where we're going to go over a little bit of college football. We're going to talk about the power rankings coming up next. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. All right. So the power rankings move around a little bit because I'm finally believing that the Patriots and the Broncos are actual teams. I mean, the Patriots.
It only took a minute.
Well, I mean, so they've been on the list. It's not like they haven't been there, but they've been lower, largely because I don't like the way that the Broncos have been playing as far as the offense is concerned, just because they're wildly inconsistent. But they keep finding ways to win. So there's that. The Patriots, they've suffered on my list largely because of the competition. Right? Like it's just who they've played. Now you have to play who's on your schedule. I get it. But when you got a bunch of cupcake games, they don't hit quite the same as when you have another team that has good competition. So that being said, they have finally played some decent games and have looked good doing it. So the new power ranking for this week. Here we go. So Rams still at number 1. Seahawks still up there too. Patriots and Broncos, that 3rd and 4th spot. So they are moving up. The Niners, man, they're frustrating. Like, everybody's in a wheelchair, and somehow they keep beating people. Eagles.
It's so
Eagles
weird.
Slide.
Yeah.
And the Jaguars popped their head back in. It's been a minute.
Hey,
they were
guys,
there.
what's going on?
I think they were there at like week 3, and then they just said, "See you later." And then, but they're playing pretty good ball. The 10th spot's always that hard one, right? Because could have easily put the Chargers there. There's a few different teams that could occupy that 10th spot. The Bills just keep hanging on.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had them all the way off the list. The lowest they've been is 10. The highest they've been is 1. So
I really feel like the Bills are motivated by the power rankings. And they're like, hey, guys, if we lose this week, we're off the power rankings. Because they win that, they just barely hold on to win games where you're like, this is something you should be much better at.
I'm sure they're watching this show.
I guarantee you, Josh Allen's sitting up there with a cup of hot cocoa watching the show right now, Bo. The 49ers are funny because all the stories about them are like bad stories. This guy's injured. Brandon Ayuk, we're getting rid of. Oh, but no, we're gonna win on Sunday still. So
that's what's so tough. Because like if you sent me their roster and their injury report, I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna catch a lot of L's. And then you look at their record and you're like, I don't understand this team. Huge credit to obviously their depth.
For sure.
Their depth is great and well-coached team because they are embracing the next man up philosophy like nobody else.
Yep. And to jump in at number 5, I think they're a team that you don't want to play. Which, by the way, the division doing so well probably does help further Gannon getting out the door because the team's like, look at everyone else.
Absolutely.
We're not even halfway competitive. So, that's bad. I wouldn't have been surprised, even just ignoring records, if the Eagles dropped off completely because of how they're playing. They don't even look good in the wins anymore. And the losses are stacking up.
They were really close to not being on my list. I want to see what they do next week, right? Only because Monday night's game, nobody played particularly well. I think the weirdest part about Mondays was the fact that this is played in LA, right? I could even kind of get it if you were in inclement weather, right? Like it's raining harder, it's snow or whatever, and you're fumbling the ball. It's like, hey, you know what? I get it. It gets slick. I can wrap my head around it. You're playing at SoFi. Like the weather is perfect, right? There's the open air end of the stadium, right? There's nothing that says, hey, ball security should be an issue today. So, but no, I agree. They were, when I was putting this list together this morning, I was like, man, I'm not sure they deserve to be on here. Honestly, their record and division lead is the only reason they didn't fall off.
Yeah.
And
your division lead is because your division sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the Bills have been wildly inconsistent, so they're kind of a weird enigma too. And then the Jags, well, they're the Jags. So you're just like, like I'm never gonna really believe in them because I know Lawrence is gonna turn into Trevor Lawrence and lose them a game. So the from 8 to like 13 is kind of a cloudy elephant graveyard kind of thing.
Yeah.
You should never go there.
Nope. Not our true contenders or anything.
Yeah.
You say 8 to 13 or 8 to 15 because Raj says Miami's at 15 now.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. So I don't know if Elliott is. Probably the worst kick of the season was Kuz, where he just like buried his toe into the ground. I don't have that. I don't have that tape loaded up, but if you haven't seen it, go Google it because it is amazingly terrible. He tried to blame it on the holder, which was even funnier because apparently he forgot we have cameras.
Right.
So the ball, he was like, "Oh, the ball started to move, so I pulled out." And it's like, well, really, what happened is the ball had a little bit of movement as you started your run up, but it was corrected before you were even close. Your front foot slides a little bit, and then you just bury that right foot into the ground. So, I mean, Koo would probably get that award from me there, Brad. Elliott has been bad on a consistent basis, although Koo hasn't been good either. But that one from Koo is probably the worst kick of the season.
Yeah. Well, who would have thought that picking up a kicker that was cut by the Falcons early in the year would just not work out? That's
crazy. I was a little surprised somebody didn't kick the tires on Tucker, though.
Yeah. He worked out somewhere, though, right? I thought that was interesting. Yeah, he had worked out last week or something like that. He was golly, I cannot remember where, but I remember seeing him with the Saints.
Oh, okay.
November 24th. Yeah. The Saints and the Colts late in 2025 have both worked him out. So, yeah.
The Colts make sense. Although that is another topic we're going to hit on. We might as well hit on it now, really. So might as well just hit that next topic. Phillip Rivers.
Wow.
Yeah, right? Like that didn't make a lot of sense to me. So obviously Richardson's still on IR. Daniel Jones done for the year. Riley Leonard, had a successful campaign with Notre Dame. They get to the championship game. They didn't win, but he played pretty well at Duke as well. But has a knee injury, right? So he's day to day as well. They have Rippon on their practice squad, although I'm sure he's being elevated now. And then you bring in a 44-year-old quarterback that hasn't played in 5 years. Now, he played with the Colts, and he had a great year, right? I think they went like 11-5, 11-6, whatever, and threw for 4,000 yards. So, I mean, like, it's not like he played terribly, but that was 5 years ago.
Right.
So, man, I don't was Rivers talking to Raj? Pretty much. Rivers' wife is pregnant again. I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking, right? It's just like, are the 10 kids he has getting expensive and he needs an NFL check again? Because that's really all I can figure here. I can't imagine he's going to look particularly sharp 5 years off.
Who called who? That's what I want to know.
So,
like, are the Colts sitting around in a room and they're like, "Hey, what about Phillip Rivers?" Because that can't be possible.
It sounded like Rivers' team called the Colts, is the way that it sounded. So even still, like, if you have a guy that hasn't, I mean, I don't know, I guess you're just in full on desperation mode, but I mean, there's ways you could have got some other guys. I know the trade deadline's gone and whatever, but I mean, you probably could have done some under the table deal with the Giants to maybe like get them to release Wilson, right?
That's what I was thinking.
Bring something like that. Now, obviously, you can't do a straight up trade or anything like that, but it's it just seems crazy to me that you're going to go get a guy that hasn't played in 5 years when there's serviceable guys around that have played recently.
Yeah. Do you think Richardson's really hurt, or is he just protesting, or they just don't want to bring him back?
What's that?
Richardson, I wonder if he's really hurt or if it's really just like, you know what, we're done with you. You're done with us. Just stay home.
He's on
float it
IR,
in
so
there.
they can't. Yeah, he's on IR, so they can't bring him back.
No, I'm just messing with him because this whole
But
situation seems wild. Like, this is the best strategy. Your best start in a long time. You're losing the division lead, right? Both teams are about to overtake you. And now 44-year-old who hasn't played in 5 years is crazy. You know, like, this is going to be the savior. And it's like I said, I mean, if we were talking about the beginning of the year and he had a whole training camp to get back out there, that'd be something. But are we trying to pretend like he's been working out the entire time and it's just, like you said, going to come out and look sharp for the very first game he's get put in with guys you're introducing him to? It's like, yeah, hi, I'm an AARP member.
100%. Yeah.
So
it makes me feel bad to be clowning on him a little bit because I'm like 6 months older than him. So, so I'm like, but I'm also not trying to jump back on a football field either. Now, he is a football coach, right? I'm sure he's throwing the ball, but you know, that it's high school kids. You're not exactly seeing the competition that you're going to see. And then you're going to bring him out in front of the Seattle defense as your week back to the NFL. I mean, he might be retired again by the end of the game.
That's what I'm thinking. Because you could simulate the throwing and all that stuff, but I'm pretty sure he hasn't been tackled like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
First hit, he goes, yeah, I remember why I retired.
And then you're going to go against Seattle's defense, which is one of the best in the league. And they find a way to hit the quarterback, even when they aren't necessarily getting a sack total. Like, they're hitting the guy.
Right.
Man, I don't know if Rivers is ready for that. I bet he is getting signed and he's like, man, I really hope this Leonard kid can get out there.
And the Riley Leonard one was wild because he didn't leave the game, right? He played the whole game and they didn't announce it till like a day or two later. It felt like, oh, by the way, Riley Leonard's banged up. Like, oh crap.
Well, they didn't have another option because they didn't have Rippon on the field. So, like, if he goes down and he can't go, I guess you got a receiver or running back. Like, it wouldn't have mattered, but
right. Wildcat, baby, Wildcat.
But we watched that happen with the Niners, right? When Purdy went down, and then you had CMC take a couple of snaps before Purdy was like, just throw some tape on it so I can get out there.
A lot of handoffs, a lot of 2-yard passes, a lot of pain.
Yeah. So, emergency quarterback. So I don't know. You can't be too excited about a Phillip Rivers return. Like, it doesn't make me feel like they got better somehow. Anytime you got somebody that's been out of the league that long, I don't look at that as a good thing.
Right. Agree.
So
this will not end well. Sorry, guys.
I mean, now as a Seahawk fan, I'm for it because I know this is not going to look great. Now they still have Taylor. Taylor's going to do some work. He does every week. He is this year's, rushing champ. There's no question. So,
right.
Do I think he's going to do some work against the Seattle defense? Of course. Absolutely. Nobody's been able to really stop him. So I think this game will be closer than it should be. I don't think it'll be that Atlanta game where they just beat the brakes off him in the second half. But if I'm Rivers, this is not the defense I want to welcome back to the NFL.
No.
So
this just seems like a crazy situation all the way around. So when I read it, I was like, I read that wrong. And then you start getting alerts and you're like, everyone is, reporting the same thing. I guess this is happening, but it makes no sense.
Oh, so, the first report of it I saw, I thought it was from the Sports Memery, right? Because I follow them just because they put funny stuff out. So because I follow them, though, I always have to like double check, be like, oh, wait, is this a real story? Oh, no, it's sports memes. Got it. So the first time I saw that up, they're like, oh, bringing Rivers in for a workout. I'm like, shut up. Like, nobody's doing that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I saw it was posted by Schefter. And I'm like, what? Did they get Schefter and then all of a sudden Rappaport posted it too? And I'm just like, oh no, I guess this is happening. I don't know why, but it's happening.
Yeah.
So
the last time I felt like that is when Luka Doncic got traded, and the person who first posted it had to say, "Hey guys, this is real. I haven't been hacked." Like that's how I felt when this came out. I was like, no. That's not even if I'd asked you to name like 50 quarterbacks right now that you thought would play. Like Phillip Rivers is not crossing your mind, No. You'll probably get to 100 somehow of quarterbacks you think would play tomorrow. If they were going to get a retired quarterback, you'd probably think Tom Brady was coming out. If I had said, hey, retired quarterback.
You couldn't go that route, but you could have went and got like a Matt Ryan or something like that, who's at least played more recently. You can't get Tom Brady because of his ownership role in the Raiders.
Oh no! I'm saying if you told me one was coming back, like notwithstanding of the other issues, I would have thought Tom Brady because he was the most recent in my head. Yeah, no, I understand because of the Raider stuff, but I'm thinking like of guys of names I could have actually come up with.
Yeah,
you could have given me a week and I wouldn't have said Phillip Rivers. Like I might have said Ben Roethlisberger because I've heard that name more recent than Phillip Rivers just because of the Mike Tomlin talk. So no, I don't. Where they pulled this rabbit out, I have no idea. Or where his team pulled it out, I guess.
Yeah, and again, it just seems like you could have found other ways. Like Russell Wilson would have been the one that really popped off for me because he played bad enough that if they drop him, which is what they would have to do, because you can't trade, right? Trade deadline came and went. But if they dropped him, only a desperate team is picking up off of waivers. Now, someone in their division might just snag him just because, right? They're like, oh, you thought you were going to get something? Ha! He's going to die on our roster. So, I mean, anything's possible. But, but yeah, it was a surprise that they went this route. Plus, they have a really tough schedule coming up. So it's not like they have any slam dunk wins. They're not leading their division currently. I think they're a game out of the division. And they're tied for second, technically third, because I think the tiebreaker goes the other way. No, Luck's not coming back. Certainly not to come face the Seahawks week 1. Like that would he quit because he kept getting hit. That would not have changed if he came back for this week.
Nope. Not under this situation. Yeah, like you said, you got Seattle, then you have San Francisco, then Jacksonville, then Houston. Like that's not
that's 3 real defenses.
Yeah. In
the next 4 games. So it really doesn't matter who's suiting up. Best case, they're getting 1 win.
Right.
And that's best case. So no, unfortunately, if you're a Colts fan, your team's cooked.
Yeah. This fell apart in a hurry. You got to kind of feel, I know we're not the subject of it, you got to kind of feel bad for Daniel Jones and all this because this was his resurgent year. This is his chance. And now there's a very real chance he misses all of next year. Right?
Yeah. Well, and the worst part is it was just a 1-year deal. So he's not even going to, he's not going to be on a roster. Right. So hopefully the Colts do him a solid and let him stick around to do the rehab at the facility. Right. But they don't have to, right? Season's over. They'd be like, well, thanks for stopping by. Sorry about your luck.
Football's a cool sport, man.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Definitely is. And you have to feel bad for him because, as a contract year, he's playing incredibly well. Nobody's going to pick him up for next year because he's not going to play. Tearing your Achilles at this point in the year means you miss all of next year no matter what. Yeah. So it's it's too bad. It's too bad because he was playing really well. And the other problem with Daniel Jones as far as getting another paycheck is you've seen the model that it requires for him to be successful, right? When he played well in New York, Barkley was having a great year.
Right.
The rest of the team was doing well, right? Defense was good. You come to the Colts. Again, you have a running back that is, in the conversation for resetting the rushing record. so you see the formula that you have to have for Daniel Jones to be successful. That really eliminates a lot of teams. You're like, okay, well, we don't have that running back. And the only two times we've seen him be successful is when you have an elite level running back.
Right. Yeah. No, that, like you said, they came into the perfect situation for him. And maybe, you know, that's what a good front office does too. Identify a situation, say this is a guy who can be successful for us. But with the not having premium running backs around the league, like you said, there's just not that many teams that he can go to. And now, like I said, missing a whole nother year, you're getting further and further away from that. So it's like, do I want to take a chance on Daniel Jones after another year from now? Like, probably not. This was the best case for him.
Exactly. And yeah, it is. It's a minimum of 10 months. And you're so late in this season that, you know, you're going to, join a new team for the final month of the season? Like, nobody's doing that. Not unless there's some major injuries. And even then, you're going to get a Daniel Jones that hasn't played and, you know, is on a reconstructed Achilles, which, you know, what we've seen across the league is the first year back from that isn't great.
It's bad. Yeah. Especially for a guy whose mobility is a huge part of his game too, as well. So
exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad. It's too bad. You feel bad for him. But,
for sure.
You know, it's just the way the sport is. Shifting gears a little bit, heading into the college football area. And that's best case scenario. Maybe week 8. I wouldn't put a lot of stock in it. But you know, the thing that's funny with that is I like what Carly Ursay is doing there. Like, it's unfortunate that they've had a litany of injuries and, you know, it's fallen apart. But I mean, her taking over that role has been fantastic for the Colts.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
they look like a changed team this year. And then, like you said, sometimes, hey, our best player, Jonathan Taylor, just let him cook and we'll work around them is your best. Hey, guys, look at that. Having a star running back and letting him get carries works out. Not saying that's any particular teams like the Ravens, you know, or maybe even the Falcons at times. I'm just saying, if you invest in that position, sometimes it works out for you.
Absolutely. So college football is a mess, right? Just across the board. You know, obviously the standings just got released. You got a bunch of teams that aren't playing in bowl games. You got Dion coming out talking about, you know, the NIL and losing players and all of that. So we're going to start it off with that. This soundbite from Dion talking about, you know, the main reason that people leave the programs.
But these guys, man, you got to understand, when a guy leaves a program that selected him, picked him, or got him at the portal, he leaves for a multitude of reasons. The number one reason people leave is money. It's not a disdain for staff, a disdain for players. It's money. Let's just be honest, man. Let's stop sugarcoating this foolishness, man. That's why most people leave.
And the thing is, you know, people are mad about it, right? They're like, oh, he's just going for money. You got to remember, 90% of these kids are not going to play at the next level. So of course they're going to try and get their money, right? If you're the 1% of the 1%, you have a shot at getting in the league. Everybody else is going to go sell insurance or do whatever they're going to do after football. So I really can't hate on these kids that they finally have the opportunity to make some money to jump in the transfer portal. Now, I don't love it from a football standpoint. I don't love it from a tradition standpoint. But as from the kids' end, I get it, right? Like for me, I wasn't durable enough to go play in the league. So I would have tried to maximize anything I could before that because I knew I probably wouldn't make it to that level.
Yeah.
So, okay.
No, sorry. No, I don't know if you're finished. No, because I think the problem becomes when these guys go play for a team, make a commitment, and it's like next year I'm gone, right? And you're starting to get these kids who are now, hey, season's over, I'm done. Not playing in a bowl. Some of them are
That's what I
skipping
love.
the playoffs to do it, and it's like the portal is after the CFP right now. They have moved it. All the kids that you see announcing that they're going to join the portal is still for afterwards. The portal now opens January 2nd, I think, to the 14th. And if you're a team that's still playing at that point, which will be like the 2 final teams, the portal for you opens after your last game. So they have moved it. It's just the kids are still saying, hey, look, I just want everybody to know I'm still out there. So that's what's going on. But, Georgia's suing a kid for not fulfilling his obligations. So it's kids are just kind of doing whatever.
No, well, and that's the problem with the NCAA is they didn't put safeguards on anything. And they've had this just reactionary approach to everything they do. And it's very frustrating because it's ruined a lot of tradition and it's made a mess of college football. They also need to do this as well. They have to fix it for head coaches. They need to have a similar setup that the NFL does, that you're obligated to make it through your bowl game or the championship or whatever. They need a no tampering policy. Like you can't just steal a head coach and a staff. I mean, Ole Miss is easily the best example of it for this year. Is they're off to the best start they've ever been. They're going to the playoff, and now they're going to enter the playoff without a head coach or offensive staff.
Yeah.
How well do you think they're going to play? Not great. It's not
now. To be fair, Ole Miss did send back the offensive staff, but that's unusual. That is a very, very weird situation. So they will have their offensive staff, and they hired their defensive coordinator as their head coach. But like to your point, this is a situation that never should have happened. Like I agree with all of that. That shouldn't have been. Yeah,
like it's a distraction for kids that are going to be
for sure.
failure. And at the same time, I don't love teams not playing in their bowl games, right? Especially when it's
awful.
One thing when it's Notre Dame because the kids were involved in that decision making. But there's few schools that the school decided, hey, we're just not doing this. And that's such a disservice to those kids because the kids, the families, like everybody associated with it, didn't realize that last game was their last game.
Right. Yep.
And if you're a senior, it literally is your last game.
That was our point last night, Bo. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. So it's too bad because it didn't need to be that way.
Yeah. And I even, I guess Notre Dame, the kids said it, but I still disagree with them. Like, who wouldn't want one more game? And as a staff, wouldn't you want 15 more practices and one more game to evaluate whatever? Even if you just play all your freshmen to try and keep them around for next year, isn't it worth it for one more game? I mean, Bo, like you said, you played it. You would have loved one more game,
Today, I would love one more game. Like I would, if my knees were like, hey, buddy, you got one more shot, to be like, cool, let me get my cleats. Like,
right.
No, I mean, I never wanted to miss out on a game. And if one was available to me, even if it's a meaningless Pop-Tarts bowl that who cares, I still want to play in it.
Thank you.
So
I agree.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of teams missing bowl games or playoffs or any of that. Same with players. Like it's a bad look. I don't love it. I'm old, I guess. I don't know. But that's just kind of how I feel about it. That being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. Appreciate you guys playing along with us. Be sure to like and subscribe. It does help us get our content out. Otherwise, we will see you next week. Take it easy, everybody.